and the Mind of Entrepreneurship, yet again with another Mindset Mondays episode with my co-host. I figured I'd throw some cultural Hispanic stuff. Yeah. Justin Thorstad.
Crowd goes wild.
Oh yeah. I'm getting a lot of compliments and comments on the sound effects.
Your sound effects?
Yeah.
I like it because it's different every time.
It's a thing, bro. Like,
you're evolving it.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
It's evolving like we are, right?
That's right.
Which takes me to our Mindset Monday topic, which is about balance, right? And here's unpopular opinion again, right?
Yeah.
Balance, life-work balance is bullshit. I'm gonna wait for that response.
What do you mean? I thought I was supposed to have balance, right?
Yes. No, as entrepreneurs, we live in a space of counterbalance. Counterbalance is really where we live, right? Especially if you're working on a startup business, or you have, you're just hiring people and growing your stuff. Even when you already have it, right? But things change. We have that cadence. Sometimes, you'll be able to get to that cadence when it comes to your business, when it comes to performance. And okay, cool, I have my shit dialed in. I have this, and that, and then boom, something happens that, it's just like a wrench thrown in the middle of the engine and it just throws everything out of whack. What happens? You go into that responsive mode, and I don't mean you, I mean we as entrepreneurs, right? We go into that responsive mode and then that taskiness mode. Sometimes we get frustrated, we freak out, and then we just go overboard with the taskiness and tend to lose that focus on the self and that quote unquote balance, right? So that by definition, it's an action for counterbalance. We're creating counterbalance one way or another. So I think it's important to understand, right, that the pursuit of that balanced, perfectly balanced lifestyle where life is at this cadence and then work is at this cadence and all that. I don't know a single person who has that.
No, well, I mean, it's a bullshit construct. This idea that we're supposed to have everything balanced. Because think about it. What's the essence driving that need? I need everything to be in balance. What's the feeling underneath that? Like, what is there for you to uncover and discover about my need to have balance? What you're really saying is, I need everything to be okay so that I can be okay.
Yeah.
Because if everything's not okay out there, I'm not okay in here. And it's like, well, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need reality to be all a certain way in your business, with your finances, with your honey, with your kids, with your friends, with your health, with your wealth, with everything going on. Everything's got to be perfectly balanced so that you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even reasonable. It's not even logical to think that, because what happens is, inevitably, life, God, the universe, whatever you want to subscribe to, whatever you want to call it, inevitably is going to throw a wrench into things.
100%.
And then people freak out. You know what I mean? It happens to all of us. I don't care how centered, how grounded, how you are. Things are going to happen. And so, I look at it as that wrench is a blessing. Because in that wrench getting thrown into the engine, into the spokes, and then you eat shit, whatever the case is, it's like that was the opportunity to go, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe something wasn't quite working out properly.
Yeah.
Maybe something needs to shift, and I wasn't even aware of it. And without this wrench getting thrown into things, I wouldn't have an opportunity to look at myself and my situation from an objective viewpoint instead of freak out. I mean, that's the initial reaction, right?
Yeah.
But if you could, okay, let me breathe for a second. Let me take a step back. Let me remove myself from this energy of my initial reaction and see it for what it is. See it through an objective lens.
Yeah.
There may be something for me to learn here. There may be something that I didn't know that was a problem that's been percolating, and all of a sudden it just came to a head, and I was totally unaware.
Yeah.
And without this happening, I wouldn't have known. And then the counterbalance piece of, okay, if I'm trying to keep all these plates spinning at 100%, well, first of all, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if we go, what I love what you say, Raph, is like hustle is a season. It's not a long-term sustainable business model, right?
Yeah.
There's a time and place to invest attention, time, and energy into a thing, let's say in your business. That's going to come at a cost. It means you're taking that time, attention, and energy away from something else to redirect that spending, that investment of time, attention, and energy into something else to get it to come to fruition. You put that plate on a stick and you got to get it spinning, right?
Yeah.
Which means you're not doing it over here. But once that's spinning, you're good. Okay, now let's pay attention over here. So it's that constant state of flux. It's a dance. You know what I mean? And how well you can flow with all of that will be determined in your external reality and your results.
1,000%, man. I mean, there was a lot of things in there that we can come in and unpack. When we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about, you know, the self and the mindset and everything. We always throw in the concept of adaptability, right? What is that if not counterbalancing? We're adapting and to new environments, to new challenges, to new, you know, whatever's. Even, and here's the crazy thing, right? We can take it. I think there's a like an unspoken connection between the term adaptability and the term growth, right? But we have to be aware that we can be adapting in a negative way too, right?
Sure.
If we're in if for example, say that everything, you know, is going, you know, 100% as planned and everything, you get to this space that's kind of comfortable, you're gonna adapt to that comfort level, right? Totally. And anything that strays from that is gonna feel outside of the box, you know, at some point.
Uncomfortable.
Exactly, uncomfortable. And what happens? I mean, it's, you know, the tendency to freak out, the tendency to just, you know, become reactionary as opposed to actually take, you know, calculated, educated or actions that are coming from an awareness standpoint, you know, can be a big challenge, right? Now, when we're and this is one thing that gets me, right. Counterbalance it comes in many different ways. I just spent a weekend with a handful of people. We took a day and we went out to Sedona and we had, you know, this real just conversations, you know, for the whole day and it was just an amazing time, right? Because we were talking about you know, everything from emotional to professional to growth and stuff that, you know, as men sometimes they get heavy, and it was just like this really cool space of self-awareness, realization, self-checks, and then, you know, cutting your bullshit out of it. And sometimes that real, honest, and raw conversation needs to happen, right? More importantly, it needs to happen outside of just your fucking head.
Yeah.
You create accountability. You create that, you know, you verbalize and you have to clarify it so you understand it so you can talk about it.
Yes.
Which is huge.
And without that sacred space, in order to unpack that, you're left just toying with it in your mind.
Yeah. That's a perfect example of counterbalance, right? I mean, for me, for example, like the space where I'm at right now, I mean, and it's one of the things that came up in the conversation is you know, the taskiness of things, getting caught up in the daily, you know, routine and doing. It's almost easy to get, you know, involved with that shiny object and really forget about the essence, forget about beingness of things, right? So that was a very, very good checkpoint for counterbalance, right? And then it brought me back to the thing, like, well, fuck, I thought I had this whole life, you know, work balance thing figured out. Like, I had that shit on dial, homie.
And no problems were happening? That's what you're really communicating? I'm in perfect balance because I have no problems. Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. You know? When you get hit with awareness, it's like, oh my God, okay, cool. I mean, what a dick I've been, you know, to my own self. It's just, you know, and it's a way of just bringing back the awareness of counterbalance, as opposed to you know, aiming for that utopian, you know, concept of, okay, life work balance. If somebody else has a different concept of this and they've seen it, because to me it's like a unicorn. I've never seen it. I've never seen, you know, the perfect, you know, balance, life, work, and you know, and that, you know, that thing that's always kind of promoted, you know, and like if you become an entrepreneur, this is what's gonna happen. I'm talking about the most successful people. Like, look at how tired they look. You know, you think that's fucking balance? No, like, come on.
Yeah, or super successful in business, but then their health starts decaying. They put on weight.
Exactly.
Look like they're aging fast. Like, that's not balance.
Exactly.
Right?
So there. I mean, I think inevitably we were kind of signing up for this life that's gonna, you know, force us to live in a space of counterbalance, right? And having the awareness of, okay, what nurtures you as an individual, what nurtures your relationships with friends, family, people, loved ones, right? Professionally, what makes sense in terms of taking action and allocating the time, but like all of those little buckets play into that counterbalance space.
Totally. And one point I want to lend for clarity about what you're saying in this topic, that you know, a lot of entrepreneurs that I've coached have come up to me, like, Justin, how do I create this work-life balance? And it's like, well, first of all, you're not. Because if everything's balanced, you're not growing, you're actually decaying, right? And again, as I said before, I'd rather have 20 plates spinning at 80% than one plate spinning at 100. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the point I think people miss in this conversation is there's so many entrepreneurs that are out of balance, meaning one facet of their life, one dimension is humming really great, but it came at a sacrifice of all these other things. And I know I found myself there too. I mean, 2014 is when it really came to a head for me. You know, business was beautiful, humming, making really good money, but the rest of my life was shit, man.
Weren't you like 500 pounds back then?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, it was, you know, drinking a lot and a lot of debt. Like things sucked, but from the outside, it looked great. Right. So I was totally out of balance, but I didn't understand counterbalance. Like, okay, now that this is humming, how do I redirect over here and get these things going up to find this delicate dance instead of like totally lopsided results? We're really great here, but everything else here is just on a scale of 1 to 10, a 0, right? Like, how do I get up here? Not all facets, all dimensions are going to be at 100% at all times. Like, that's just not, it's not rational thought.
Yeah, especially when you're creating an environment, a collective environment, right? If we're running a solo operation and we're super responsible and we're like, I don't know, like wired like Superman when it comes to business and responsibility and motivation and drive. And you wake up every single morning like a robot and you're an android and you get, everything, dialed in and done. And you're that regimented, which I'm pretty sure there's got to be like one person out there at least.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I say that for liability purposes. but unless you're that solo operation, that's uber, anytime you bring the collective into it, anytime you bring collaboration into anything that you're doing, there's just shit that's not going to be within your control. Why? Because now we're talking about the human factor. You're talking about the drive and motivation of other people. Now, what happens when the drive and motivation of other people or it's off or becomes off-centered with whatever you're in alignment with in terms of your business, like shit happens, right? Things break, people don't show up to work, people do like, isn't that another thing that we have to counterbalance for? It's not going to be ideal. We can hire rock stars, but rock stars get sick, rock stars have have off days. It's the same thing. So
divorces, like things happen.
Exactly. There's shit that always gets thrown in the middle of the path, right? And
Your
I
perfect
think
plan.
Yeah, the perfect plan. And our the role is really to just be aware, okay, cool. This is a moment for counterbalance. Everything's going great, but here's one that gets me all the time. Like, oh, no, that task is way below my current, I'm the CEO. I am the business owner. Like I'm not going to go on seller appointment, or I don't know. I mean, you name it, right? Like that's
totally cleaning toilets is.
I used to do that.
Me. Like the fuck.
I used to do that. I don't do it anymore. I'm like, well, fucker, you got to counterbalance if your business is not there. You know what I mean? So, anyways, it's I think just bringing awareness to that thing or that concept is very important, right? Because we can get worn out like massively if we're looking for that perfection, if we're looking for that state of bliss that just where everything's kind of balancing and we're riding around in a fucking unicorn.
Yeah. You're chasing an illusion.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, exhaustion could be the only outcome of that.
Yeah.
Because it's just not attainable.
Yeah.
Right. But I think for people to say, okay, hey, Raph, Justin, I'm out of balance right now. Cool. So have you sat down? I mean, let's take a pragmatic approach to this, right? Like, okay, so Raph, Justin, you guys are talking about this, but what do I do about my situation? I'm completely out of balance. Great. Sit your ass down with pen and paper, not digitally, not on your laptop, not on your phone, pen to paper. There's something magical about that. When you take
and that's
thought
what he's referring to.
Form.
It's one of these.
Like if you don't have a journal, I know some guys like, yo, you have a diary?
You don't have a nap?
Douche, you don't have a perspective. So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't understand the value because you haven't done it.
What?
Is that funny, Giovanni? So, but there's power in that. Like I watched
Children
this
of the
guy
80s, all right?
with this journal. I'm like, why does he always write shit down? And then I realized like my shit was scattered, and I finally got one. I started writing things down. Like I carry that thing with me everywhere, and it's brought so much clarity, so much focus and attention to what really matters to me in all areas of my life. It's that right there is a game changer. So, anyways, sit down with pen to paper, like actual pen, pencil, and paper. Don't shortcut this. That is the shortcut.
Yeah.
And write out, what do you want each of those facets of your life to look like? Like sit down and use your imagination and create it. What would be the highest and best for my relationship with my honey, with my kids, with my finances, with my health, and my business? Because I tell you what, if your business is rocking, like, okay. So many years ago, I was in this mastermind. It was a bunch of realtors all making over a large amount of money. And one dude stands up and he's like just proud that he closed like 75 or 77 transactions in his last year all by himself. All by himself. Like no transaction coordinator, no market, no nothing. And another dude stands up and goes, congratulations, and you're a shitty father and you're a shitty husband. And the guy was silent because he was like, oh my God, how'd you know? You can't possibly manage all that yourself. You're so out of balance and you have no counterbalance. Like you don't have time, energy to give to your honey or your kids. His health was out of whack. Like, but again, people don't know what lever to pull and what dial to tune in if you don't know even where you're going. Like you got to have a point B. And so have you taken
You have to give yourself the time to process that.
Yeah,
to just sit with it.
Sit with it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it, because to think is to create. Do you know what I mean? And so like if you're not thinking about what the highest and best result is in all facets of your life, how do you expect to hit it? Like you have no aim. You've got nothing to focus on. You've got no target, right? So you first have to conceive the idea, bring it into its physical form by writing it down on paper and saying, okay, what's missing here between where I am and where I desire to be? What's in the gap there? Yeah. First of all, it exists in my awareness. Now that I have a target, I got something to aim for. Point B, now what's missing there? And so can I map it out? Like, bro, I got 5 90-day goals, just like everybody else in my organization. I've got a vision. Every morning I read the vision. Every morning I look at my goals. What am I on for today? Like I have a strategy. I have a focus so I can pay attention. Energy flows where attention goes. What are you paying attention to? Do you have a strategy? Do you have a point B? Like you got to write that shit down. Otherwise, in my opinion, like you're just scrambling, haphazard, chaotic.
Yeah, it's easy to half-ass life too.
Oh yeah.
If we just don't take a second to even think about the thing, and I'm gonna call it a thing, right? But the thing that we want to become, the spirit that we want to become, the beingness that we want to just embrace. It's funny that you bring that up, man, because over the weekend it was actually one of the questions. And I've done the exercise of sitting there, right, and then asking myself, what does the ideal realization of the I am or the me that I want to what does that look like, right? Yeah. Who is that person? Like if I was my own superhero, my own role model, what does that person look look like, right? Or what are they doing? What are And I've sat down and I've given it enough time and thought, right?
Oh, so it wasn't like one and done. You had to keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't hit it and quit it. Yeah, it's not one of those. You go back to the drawing board. It's like, man, what was that guy thinking?
Yeah,
like, no, because you evolve, right? Again, like time, dynamic beings, and just shit changes around us. Our perspective changes. We go from this thinking box to this bigger thinking box, and then a bigger thinking box, and it's evolution, right?
Evolution.
It's the same thing. Like that aspiration has to evolve along with you. But going back to it, right? So I went back through one of my journals because I wrote it down, I don't know, years ago, and I go through a few of them a year. So I have this cool little library of just thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. That I go back to. So I looked it up and I was like, yeah, and I had a shit ton of things in there. Like, well, that's out. That's stupid. I don't want to do that anymore. That sort of thing. So I just kind of cleaned it up. Yeah. Now, the question that really made it, though, was the one that followed after that. And that's how often do I talk to this person? How often do I have conversations with the person that I want to become? And there's, in that little dynamic, that little exercise, right? There's a lot. If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, you know about the mindset concept. You know about the mastermind concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know about the fact that you can create conversations within you and then have vivid, kind of like role playing, right? Conversations, sort of like that.
And the sexual transmutation of energy. That book is amazing.
It's insane. It's so ahead of its time, man. I think it's ahead of our time right now. Still ahead of its, it was written long ago.
20s,
but in the 20s, crazy. So the thing though is the question: how often do I talk to that guy? You know what I mean? I feel I love myself, right? So I'll look at myself in the mirror. It's like, all right, cool, bro, you're doing good. And boom,
but he looks at himself in the mirror and he's like, oh yeah. God, I'm sexy. I look good. No.
I'll flex. No, you know what I mean? But it's asking myself the question, of how often do I talk to that guy? Man, I'll go back and revisit the memory, revisit whatever that vision was, but really having conversations like seeing like the actualization of that person next to me as I'm making as I'm taking decisions, as I'm taking the direction of the company or my personal life in whatever direction, is it's like understanding that that person is walking right beside me. You know what I mean? And it's like a personification of the person that you want to become. And it just like it completely, I don't know, that little question was just a game changer for me when it was planted over the weekend. Again, it was just a guy's weekend out, and we're the point of it was growth, right? And like it really, I think it's at its essence, it's just another example of what counterbalance can look like, right?
Absolutely. And so what you're saying is like the value of a mastermind in order to come into a group of people that on an energetic calibration level that are equal to or greater than yourself,
right?
And an opportunity to just speak out what has been going on the inside. What are those conversations? Because yes, when you actually speak it, it usually comes out different than how you were thinking it, and you get a fuller understanding and experience those emotions, experience those thoughts at a whole nother level. And because you got to articulate it, you know what I mean? And then you get some feedback, first of all, instantly by yourself of like, oh my God, I can't believe that just fell out of my mouth, right? And then perspective and so forth to support you in the highest and best outcome. But, what I love about the counterbalance is, like, for example, if you look at professional athletes, like they train super hard, gold medalist athletes, the highest paid professional athletes out there, there's a time and place for that athlete to sit down, rest, and reflect of like, how have I been? What's in the gap? How do I improve? And so another pragmatic approach that all of you can take is, why don't every single morning, like as soon as you open your eyeballs, don't reach out and grab your cell phone, put that shit down. As soon as you become conscious, awake in the morning, just ask yourself, what is my intention today? Who do I desire to be? How do I want to think? How do I want to feel? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to set that intention. I did that this morning. Mine was, I'm going to be present, objective, patient, and calm. I'm a bit fiery at times, right? And so it was a great reminder, and I got tested many times today. Let me say I had many opportunities to practice. Some I did extremely well, some, meh,
and it's barely 1.
Yeah, well, I start early.
It's barely 1 p.m.
But the other thing is this. If you love yourself enough and you want extra credit because you care about investing into you so that you can grow and evolve, how about at night, sit down with that book and journal out, okay, where am I proud of myself today? Where did I nail it? Where do I feel accomplished? What did I do right? Let me take an inventory of that. And I don't care how damn small the victory is. If you followed through on something you told yourself you were going to do, if you gave yourself a command, you actually followed through no matter how small, write that shit down. Don't think about it, write it down. And then when you're done taking in your wins, okay, hey man, let me just be honest with me, because I'm the only one in here and I know me and I know what's going on. So there's no secrets, there's no hiding from me. Where did I fall from grace? Where did I react? Where did I lose my shit? Where did I get scared and not show up? Well, let me take inventory of that, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's not evidence to beat yourself up with. It's simply a notice, and come have some compassionate inquiry with self of like, I wonder why I did that. Let me just be honest. No judgment, no condemnation, no negative energy on it. It's just factual, because here's the deal. Then tomorrow morning when you wake up and you set your intention for the day and who do I desire to be, how do I want to think, how do I want to feel, guess what? It's the opposite. You're setting an intention as the opposite of where you fell short yesterday, so that you can become aware of this. So it's in the forefront of your mind so you can pay attention to who I desire to be that I wasn't yesterday. Where can I improve? You know what I mean? It's like you got to love yourself enough to do this process and grow with it as an opportunity to practice a new state of being. So it's not beat up in judgment time. It's just taking proper stock and inventory of who I am, who I desire to be. And that lends to a tremendous amount of counterbalance, right?
Yeah.
Because as you said earlier, you can be out of balance and continue for that to become comfortable, or you can go to work on it.
Yeah.
But in order to go to work on it, you're going to have to identify what it is that's holding me back, what's not working, what is working, because I want to take ownership of that too, right? And you just got to make incremental progress day by day by day, moment by moment.
Yeah. No, 100%. You said something, I think it's key too, which is where do you fall from grace? just being aware. Okay, because we can craft a path, right? We can create a plan of action. We can, say
Craft the
this
path.
is
I love that.
I've
never heard you say that before.
That's actually pretty smart, right?
It
I'm gonna write
is.
it down.
It is.
Hold on.
Write that shit down. I'm gonna
Please give me a second and write something down that I said that was very smart. And I'll
craft the
forget
path.
about it.
I love that. Man. That's
Craft.
gold.
That's gonna be
I'm
a
gonna
t-shirt.
use that shit.
All right, you can borrow it.
I'm stealing it.
All right, craft the path T-shirts coming at you. Yeah, that's pretty good. Well,
That was brilliant,
all right.
man. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I mean, I did my thing for today.
And we're done.
And we're done. Thank you.
I know.
No, but it's we can tap into that space where we envision, right, and then we start taking actions, and then go on for a degree of time and whatnot, and then somehow, some way, whatever kicks in, and then you go back to defaults, and then you fall from grace, meaning that one, you stop taking the actions because the motivation is, you just didn't wake up with the motivation that one day, or something happened throughout the day where you were feeling super positive, and then some shitty thing happened, and then now you're not, and your energy's off, and then things are just going in a whole different direction than was originally intended, and you're beating yourself up for it, right? I think the grace part is very, very important. I don't think we especially as I mean, I don't want to use the term alpha mentality males when we're alpha mentality period, right, as entrepreneurs, because men and women it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But we have that the driving tenacity and that, like, let's fucking get shit done, and sometimes we can be extra hard on ourselves. Men and women, doesn't
I don't
matter
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Men and women, doesn't matter, right? But we it's easy to fall from grace and our own grace and beat ourselves up for stuff that's that it's bound to happen because it's part of human nature, right? It's part of human psychology to just get demoralized when something shitty happens.
It is the human experience.
Exactly. The human experience. So it's try to go back and then just peg it. Okay, cool. I mean, I started the day with intentions, and it was really panning out. Well, where did I fall from grace? I think it's a really good self-awareness.
It is
checkpoint, right?
If you're willing to just be honest with yourself and just say, oh yeah, you know what? I had this conversation. I got super triggered and activated, and I reacted, and I said something that was disrespectful or mean or aggressive. So next time that happens, I want to notice those emotions. I want to notice those thoughts. I want to disconnect myself, and I want to respond accurately from a place of objectivity. Okay, that's my intention today, and I'm only going to have the opportunity now to practice that today because I was willing to sit down the night before and take inventory, take stock of me, because I love me enough to improve me.
Yeah,
you're not hitting perfection. You're not hitting a perfect balance. Like, stop it. So what does improvement look like? What does your evolution look like?
Yeah.
And you'd have to sit down and craft that path. I love that, man.
Boom,
Brilliant.
fire, man! I love it. Fam, it's important to understand that I guess glorified sense of balance is I mean, it's like a unicorn, right? We may feel it, get glimpses of it, and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we still have to understand that. Entrepreneurship is dynamic. Life is dynamic. We're having an experience, the human experience, a life experience, right?
Yeah.
We have to sometimes just craft a path that's not there yet, and that's gonna take counterbalance. It's gonna take extra effort in certain areas. It's gonna take you dialing it back from certain areas to create some more. Great experiences or results and moments, great stuff in some other areas. It's important to understand that too. So.
Totally. Well, and as I said before, it's like a bird with two wings, man.
Yeah.
On one wing you got effort. It takes action, takes commitment, takes strategy, takes intention.
Yeah.
But it also takes some grace and grace with self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise you become cynical towards you and beat up towards you. And then guess what? That's the lens in which you view your reality. And now you start projecting on everybody else and everything else. And that's not productive either. It's not efficient or effective.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. So Justin, great talk, dude.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
Yeah. So family, thank you so much for hanging with us. And then there you guys have it, right? I mean, I'm going to go back to the beginning of it, but I think balance is bullshit. Counterbalance is really where we live. And it's important to have that awareness of things. So there you guys have it. Until next time, stay focused, No, wait. I always forget about this part.
No, you never forget. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah. All right, I'll get it eventually. Come on. All right, Justin, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, best place is justinthorstad.com. Thorstad is just like it sounds, THORSTAD. Facebook, Instagram, cell phone 602-348-8534. Take your pick.
Why'd you gotta say it like that?
What?
Like with an attitude?
I was just trying to get it out
yeah,
quickly, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
was it?
Yeah, no, it was.
What was my
It was
intention?
good. Kind of felt
Okay.
like a white rapper trying to doing their thing. Well, anyways, did I say that out loud?
You did, yeah.
All right. So, then you can find me anywhere in social at Rafael Cortez, CEO on IG. Do us a favor, if you like the content, the stuff that we're putting out there for you on a regular basis, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go follow Justin as well. And like, share, and then let's have a conversation. Send us, messages back and forth, and we're pretty adamant about responding back and whatnot. So there you guys have it. All right, now we're good.
Cool.
Stay focused. You got this. Bam!